David Salmon, aka Diz, and this is the Force Always. Okay, here I am. It's been a long week. The Force Always still keeps rocking. Anyway, this is the Star Wars news, views, reviews, interviews. Let's get on with the Star Wars news. Making the news is October 9 is the trailer release. October 9 will be the trailer release for The Last Jedi. Whether it's a teaser or full trailer, we don't know as yet, but October 9. That in America is going to be Monday night. For us here in Australia, it will be October 10, pretty much the same time. We're just in the future here. So if you want to look out online here in Australia, as we don't have American football like the Americans do, but we will be anticipating it to be online. Moments later, it appears on the American football that night in America. So, more news. Tickets will be on sale for The Last Jedi next week. And again, at the same time, Monday and Tuesday, whether you're in America or Australia, check that one out. That will be next week. Last Jedi advance tickets. If you're that excited, check that one out. To more news. December 8th seems to be the date that the world premiere for The Last Jedi will be, and what exact theatre it will be. I'm sure it's going to be the Chinese theatre in LA, but it's not confirmed as yet, and the date is not confirmed as yet. It's just very high speculation that the 8th of December will be the world premiere for The Last Jedi. Funny enough, it's episode 8 on December the 8th. Rian Johnson really does keep it, real. So, to more news. Rebels Season 3 DVD, Blu-ray still not released here in Australia. It's just, what can I say? You just got to keep waiting. So, Rebels Season 3 is still not out in Australia, but we are also about a week and a half away to the premiere of Rebels Season 4 on the Disney network. So that's going to be a great last season. Season 4 for Rebels. That's the Star Wars animation in about a week and a half or so, I'd say. So check that one out. Ron Howard is still making Star Wars news. He just keeps on putting those fantastic tweets, photos, everything. So again, I implore you to check his Twitter account. It's Real Ron Howard on the Twitter universe type of thing. So check that one out. Ron Howard, he's great. He's the director of the new young Han Solo film that's yet to be titled and yet to have a trailer, yet to have a poster. I think we're going to get that at the end or the start of the actual The Last Jedi movie. High speculation on my behalf and many out there as well. So, to more news. We just had a thing here in Melbourne called the Royal Melbourne Show. Royal Melbourne Show. It's just a big carnival type of event, with his rides, fairy floss, clowns, just animals. It's an iconic piece of this time of year in Melbourne, Australia. It is good. It's more for kids, but it's still fun for adults as well. The rides. Whether you like dodgem cars, whether you like the scary ones, it's there. But they also have this thing called show bags, and that's sort of fairly popular in many sort of show type of events like this. But Melbourne show bags are, just sought after by the kids. There were three show bags for Star Wars this year. Now, let me just tell you the pain and agony sometimes living in this part of the world. I love Melbourne. I love Melbourne's coffee. I love Melbourne's culture. I love Melbourne's city, the suburbs, the bay, everything. But sometimes Melbourne gets a little bit behind. So the show bags, there was 3 show bags, as I said. One of them was the episode 7 show bag. You know, you get novelties and things like that. You know, episode 7, 2 years ago. Come on. The other show bag, not that you could only get the episode 7, but there was actually a Force Awakens show bag. I'm thinking, I'm sorry, don't get me wrong here, but, or correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it the same thing? And when looking at these sort of things you get in these show bags, similar novelties. The only other Star Wars show bag that was available was a New Hope show bag, which is sort of, you know, homage to the original Star Wars sort of thing. Probably for your adults out there more than the kids now. But so there was 3 show bags: the episode 7, the Force Awakens, and a New Hope show bag at the Royal Melbourne Show. It's fun. It's great to have Star Wars show bags, but come on, we're in the episode 8 era. Bit of a hint. Anyway, so that is the news for this time around. So one other piece of information actually, while we're in Melbourne, as I'm broadcasting this from this show, that is, we've had our football final here in the last week, which we call footy or AFL. So our grand final, as we refer to it as. Some interesting fun fact. The team that won this year's final was the Richmond Tigers. Richmond Tigers were part of Melbourne, so that's good, great, good on them. I'm not a Richmond Tiger myself, but you know, good on them. But the last time this group of footballers won a, as we call, premiership, was in 1980. Now, how's that significance for a Star Wars show? I'll tell you why. 1980, Empire Strikes Back came out. That's the second part of a trilogy in Star Wars. We're going to experience this year the second part of another part of another trilogy. So the second part again. So the number 2 of that trilogy back in 1980, Richmond Tigers won. And the second part of this now trilogy, the Richmond Tigers won again. It's amazing. It's a fun fact. Richmond Tigers, 1980 and 2017, Empire Strikes Back, The Last Jedi. It's madness. Anyway, so that's the news for this time around. Let's get into the views. This is a story connection idea that I have. Now, views is not predictions. It's all about my story ideas. It's about the connection, not a backstory of what I'm about to say. I would like to have the Praetorian Guards that we're seeing in episode 8, The Last Jedi, these red figures that look like Royal Emperor Guards from the Return of the Jedi period. They're called Praetorian Guards in The Last Jedi. I'd like to have these Praetorian Guards and the Knights of Ren somehow have a connection, either levels or, you know, working close together or something like this. But the other part I'd like to see, which I sort of mentioned before, but I think Knights of Ren, it's an interesting name. It says 2 things to me. Knights, which is sort of like Jedi Knights, which is sort of saying good. But Ren, where does Ren come from? Now, look, I can assume that Ren means, you know, Kylo Ren. It could be the Knights for Kylo Ren. I don't know. But it would be interesting to see if Ren came from a Mandalorian character. Now, if you don't know what Mandalorian character is, it's a planet called Mandalore, and it's where the Boba Fett type of people come from, but it's not actually Boba Fett. It's not a part of where he came from, or she, whatever you like to call Boba Fett, but they look like Boba Fett sort of characters. And I'd like to see Knights of Ren, the Ren part from Sabine Wren. Sabine Wren. She's a part of the Rebels animation at the moment, and it would be interesting tie-in, and this is what we're lacking in the Star Wars thing at the moment. We've only had one real movie so far, which is Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and Rogue One was a real movie too, and it was great, but it was sort of like a homage type of thing. But I think this tie-in would be great. Praetorian Guards connecting to the Knights of Ren, and the Knights of Ren connecting to Sabine Wren. How would you connect Sabine Wren with the Knights of Ren? Well, her village could have been destroyed by these so-called knights, or Ren, or some sort of connection to the Knights of Ren, or something like that. It would be great. I just think Mandalore and the Mandalorians and Sabine Wren as a character and characters that should be, more vastly explored. It's really, really good. So that's my views this time around. Let's get into the reviews. Reviews this time around is Forces of Destiny is back. And what is Forces of Destiny? You ask, well, it's actually short animation pieces available on YouTube through the Disney Channel, and they're sort of centered around female strong characters, but they stopped at 8 episodes. This is a while ago. I thought, what's happened? Disappeared. But they've all of a sudden reappeared in the last week. We've got 3 episodes so far, getting onto a 4th very shortly. But these ones seem to have a bit more substance to it, like very similar sort of feel and storyline, very short and with female leads. But they seem to have an agenda, these ones. It seems to have an agenda to advertise what's either coming or going to be in The Last Jedi Episode 8, which is good for me. I love it. I thought the opening episode was great, and the one with Yoda was great. So really, these episodes so far, in a generalised way, I'm sort of going to say I will give it about a 7.5 out of 10. Entertainment, little fun tidbits. Some of you out there don't like them, a bit sort of loose. They're irrelevant or whatever it is. But I don't know. Just take it as they come, a bit of fun. And while we're waiting for The Last Jedi, our hardcore fans can be entertained by something, and that's it. So that's the reviews for this time around. 7.5 out of 10 for the Forces of Destiny episodes 9, 10 and 11, I believe. So interviews this time around is 2Q. It's a 2Q one. That's right, 2Q. 2Q was, what is 2Q? It's a way of describing saying 2 questions. 2Q, 2 questions. 2 questions I'll ask myself for you guys out there of what I think of certain things. So, announcing The Last Jedi trailer date, is it good or bad? Well, I'm going to go straight to the point. It's good. So when this was announced, initially Mark Hamill accidentally, we're assuming, on his Twitter account, saying to another fan that watch out for October 9, in a roundabout's way, there could be something interesting in a roundabout's way. And then shortly after, it was removed from his account. I think, personally, you need to advertise the advertisement, because then you get people who don't necessarily know when it's on to see it at that time. As The Last Jedi trailer is being aired on American football Monday night, there's going to be some Star Wars fans that don't watch football. It's going to bring them in. I think it's a great idea, and it does not just do the ratings for that, but it creates a bit more of a hype and energy and excitement for The Last Jedi. Just it's been away for a long time. I mean, the last piece of real advertisement that we got really was Star Wars Celebration, and that was in April, and I was there, and I sort of I'm hanging on to knowing that was when we got this Last Jedi trailer, and hanging on to that memory. But we need to move on. We need to get a trailer. This is the time. We're busting for it. It will be great. Is announcing the last trailer date good or bad? It's good. So just watch it. If you're in Asia, if you're in Europe, if you're in Australia, Melbourne, Australia, like me, it'll be online. It'll be great. Anyway, so that's the first question. So the second question: how many trailers should The Last Jedi should we get from now till the release of The Last Jedi? Well, we've had one teaser trailer already. Let's call that one. We're gonna get one on October 9. Personally, I think that would be it. I would personally be satisfied. That's it. I don't need to see anything else. I mean, yes, I'd love to see things, but I don't need it. And being a Star Wars fan like I am, anything I can get, I'll just see or watch or whatever. There's certain things I won't want to see and hear, but that's for another episode. But I think it would be great to leave it as this trailer and that's it. If they're going to do another trailer after this, it should be just a rehash of an international version of this trailer. That's it. Hold back on those TV spots. Those TV spots are really annoying. We don't need them. Have it just 2 trailers, which was the one we got in Star Wars Celebration of 2017, and this one coming out on October 9th. That's it. That's all we need. Posters, put posters up, everything. Speaking of posters, actually, sort of going back to the news a little, there's going to be the official theatrical poster being released at New York Comic Con, which is this weekend. So watch out for that. I think it's going to come out on Sunday night there, which will be for us in Monday. That's Monday in Australia. Anyway, so they're the answers to the 2Q interview questions. And just remember, subscribe to this channel, like, share, repeat the video, whatever you like to do. I'm here on a weekly basis telling you Star Wars info. My name's David Zammit. Probably got that at the start. AKA Diaz. You probably got that at the start. But until next time, just keep rocking.